What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the PikaPikaPaPa, and here we are looking at Sun and Moon's September performance. Now, this is a little different than what we usually do here, and really than what most Poketubers do here. Like, a lot of times here in the Pokemon space on YouTube, we'll pick out certain cards. Hey, these cards are going up a lot, these cards are going down a lot, and we focus on these individual cards. But you know here, I like a more holistic view. I like to understand, what is the hobby doing in general? A strong overall hobby is going to eventually lift all cards up, and I think it gives us an idea of where some buying opportunities might be, or where we need to just sit there and hold some stuff, right? Nobody wants to sell a pack or a booster box or a single at its weakest point. So using some of these macro level ideas and some of these macro level data points, it can make us feel really, really good when it comes time to make those buying and selling decisions. So that's what we're going to be doing here. Just like we did for Sword and Shield the other day, today we're even looking at Sun and Moon and all of the top 20 cards in every single set, including Elite Trainer box, booster box, singles packs, and we're going to see how they performed from September to October. Now, there is some fascinating stuff in this video. I'm not going to lie to you. I was really, really surprised with how Sun and Moon performed, especially since Sun and Moon has kind of been the poster child, right? Sun and Moon has been absolutely killing the game as of late, but guess what? When the market gets soft, the market doesn't care how you've been doing in the past. The market doesn't care if you're the poster child for success in the Pokemon world, right? Like, the market does what the market is going to do. So we're going to see some weakness here in the Sun and Moon set. Now, we're not going to see the same type of weakness we saw in Sword and Shield, but there is a lot of red on here, and it's really important for all of us to take a look at this and understand what's going on. I always want everybody on this channel to be playing chess when other people are playing checkers, and I think this is a great tool in our tool belt. So I always start off with giving you a high-level view of what happened so you know the kind of value you're going to get in this content. So guess what we saw in this month? We saw the top 20 cards total value in September was $12,604. In October, it dropped to $12,496. Now, that is less than a 1% decline, only $100 down. I think, considering everything that's going on in the macro Pokemon space, I think that is really, really good, right? Especially since, as you see here, Sword and Shield as a whole was down 6%. Now, when we get into the booster box space, very, very, very different story here. Now, again, not a huge loss, right? It went from $7,306 collectively for all booster boxes in Sun and Moon, and it dropped to $7,135. So only down 171 bucks, or 2.3%. But the interesting thing is, if you look at Sword and Shield actually fared a little bit better over the last month. Now, Sword and Shield obviously has some much lower booster box price points, and what might happen is we continue to see some softening in the market is people might stop buying the Sun and Moon booster boxes at $7, $8, $9, heck, Team Up is up to $1,800, right? Like, they might stop going after some of that. They might start focusing on some of the lower end Sword and Shield booster boxes. You know, I like Battle Styles at under 100. Chilling Reign is one of my favorites right now. You can still get Vivid Voltage for a reasonable price, I think in like the 110, 120 range, right? And we still have all of these other sets that have been restocked, like Silver Tempest, Brilliant Stars, Lost Origin, which are going to do phenomenal in the long run. Now, what I'm saying is we might see people paying a little less attention on the Sun and Moon stuff, and they might be looking more at the Sword and Shield era from a sealed booster box perspective. But listen, this is why I do this content. This is why I provide this kind of information, so we can keep a finger on the pulse of all of this as we go on month by month by month. Is the market going to soften for 2 months, 4 months, 6 months? I don't know, but we're going to be here holding hands every step of the way. With that being said, if that kind of stuff excites you, this is what we do here on the PikaPikaPaPa channel. We have a ton of fun and we look at a ton of data. So if that is what revs your engine, hit that subscribe button. Questions or comments, drop them down below. As always, if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. Those 3 small things go a long way in helping a small content creator like me out, and I really appreciate it. Now, without further ado, let's get into the set. So I'm starting with Cosmic Eclipse, right? So we're starting with the most recent Sun and Moon sets, and we're going to work our way back to the very, very beginning Sun and Moon base. Now, here are the top 20 cards. You'll see the Elite Trainer box and booster pack and booster box prices there at the very top. Then in orange, you're going to see that's the average price for the top 20 cards in the set. And then I have this average versus booster box price, and that's just a ratio, right? The average of the top 20 cards versus the booster box price. Now, we've done a ton of research here on the PikaPikaPaPa channel in the past, and that can lead to being an indicator as to when a set is at a good point to buy a booster box, or when it's a good point to sometimes pick up some single cards. Now, the interesting thing here at Cosmic Eclipse and Unified Minds is, guess what? The singles, the top 20, they basically netted out at a 0. But what was interesting to me is look at both of the top cards in these sets went up. Cosmic Eclipse is up 1% at that number 1 slot. Unified Minds is up 3% at the number 1 slot. Like, the other thing that was interesting to me is I also see the Cosmic Eclipse booster packs have gone up slightly, up 5% over a month. Like, that's a big gain when you're thinking about just 4 weeks or a month. Now, we've been seeing a lot of those Cosmic Eclipse booster packs out in the wild over the last 6, 8, 12 months, right? We've been seeing them in the Target boxes, the Rapidash. We've been seeing them in the Arceus V boxes. So it is interesting to me that we are seeing more of them in the wild. I'm sure more of them are ending up in collectors' hands, yet the price has gone up. Now, I will say this. I have been a fan of Unified Minds for a long, long time. I think that set is every bit as worthy of Cosmic Eclipse. So it's going to be interesting to me to keep an eye on that and see how it performs over this softening period. If it starts to drop down a whole lot, I wouldn't be surprised if in 12, 18, 24 months, it ends up popping up to Cosmic Eclipse levels. I don't think it's going to be better than that. It's certainly not going to be team up. But I could absolutely see Unified Minds making a strong run here. Then when you look at the top at the sealed product for these two sets, kind of all over the place, right? Like one ETB is up, one ETB is down, booster pack is up, booster pack is down, and the booster boxes are split as well. But I thought this was a really great spot to start our video out because I think these are two awesome sets. Now, we're going to get into the next two right here, Unbroken Bonds and the beast that is Team Up. Now, both of these top 20s are down just a tick, right? Down -1% for both of these. But look at it. These 4 sets, like the 4 end of era sets here in Sun and Moon, are awesome, awesome, awesome sets. And essentially over the last month, despite their awesomeness, they have basically been flat, right? Out of those 80 cards, they're basically flat. Now, the thing I want to call out about the Team Up side is look at all the weakness in the top. That is where most of it is coming from. You get beyond those top 4 big cards and you start to see cards going up in price. What did I say earlier about the more expensive booster boxes in Sun and Moon? And people might be paying more attention to the more affordable boxes in Sword and Shield. We might be seeing the exact same thing in Team Up. Hey, maybe a lot of people out there want a piece of Team Up. They want some top 20 cards from that set because they think in the long run it's going to do really, really well. But as the market continues to soften, maybe they don't want to drop $775 on the love card, right? So they're looking for some other more approachable price points in Team Up, and that's why we see all the green from number 15 down, right? And that's why we see some weakness in the top. Now, I will say Unbroken Bonds from a sealed perspective kind of got kicked in the shin. ETB is down, booster pack is down, booster box is down. Not surprised to see the Team Up booster box coming down 4%. Sometimes, like Icarus, we get a little too close to the sun and we start to come down a bit. Honestly, if somebody were to ask me what I think is going on in the Pokemon market in general, I don't think there's any less hobbyists. I don't think there's any less collectors. I just think we all got a little too excited there for a bit. Prices went up, and I think we have to correct, which we're in the middle of right now. So to me, I'm not going to be surprised if I see some of these really, really expensive things start to come down. We saw Cosmic Eclipse booster boxes coming down. We see Team Up booster boxes coming down. Now, when we get into the next ones right here, Lost Thunder and Celestial Storm, really excited to see Lost Thunder. If you're a follower on this channel, you know that on my targets for the month of October, I had called out Lost Thunder as a set that I was really excited about, and that was something that I was going after. So seeing all the singles doing really well is exciting, but guess what? I said I wanted the Lost Thunder Elite Trainer box. I thought that out of all the products, that was the most undervalued one, but look at what the Elite Trainer box did. It's down 5%. Do you think I care? Heck no, that gets me excited because that was my target for this month, so that means this could be a buying opportunity. A Lost Thunder Elite Trainer box at $150 is absolutely awesome. Then you look at the booster packs down 15%. Then you look at the booster box down 11%, but all of the singles, not all of them, but most of them are up. This is our first one where we see a positive top 20 return of up 2% month over month, which is really cool. Then Celestial Storm, that's nothing to shake a fist at. Again, if the top card wasn't down 3%, if that card was at least flat, the whole top 20 would be up because you see a whole lot of green there. Now, the booster box went up, but again, we're seeing the Elite Trainer boxes take a little bit of a hit. So in 4 of the 6 sets so far, the number 1 card has actually come down in price. Besides Unified Minds and Cosmic Eclipse on the very first slide, the last 4 of the top cards, the number 1 cards, have all come down. Now, when you look at the booster boxes, guess what? 4 of the 6 booster boxes have come down as well. Again, I don't like to beat the dead horse, but maybe some of the more expensive products as we get into this period of softening, maybe we're going to see some of the more expensive products start to come down in price a little bit at an accelerated rate to compare to some of the others. Now, Forbidden Light and Ultra Prism. Look at Ultra Prism. Let's start off over there. Look at the Elite Trainer Box booster, or the Elite Trainer Box jumping through the roof. Now, the booster box was flat, but again, this is 1 month's worth of data. All this data is pulled from TCG Player, or no, actually, I pulled this from Polkadata.io. Polkadata.io pulls from eBay, so unless there's a lot of products that are selling, that can cause some pretty crazy swings in prices, but that's why we look at this every single month, because over the course of a couple months, we'll start to understand the pattern that's going on here. But hey, listen, not bad for Ultra Prism, up 8% in the number 1 slot. Whole lot of strength overall. Top 20 is up 4% as well. And even Forbidden Light, even though there's more red there was a lot of cards that did really, really well. So overall, it is flat. Booster boxes up. We just got done on the last slide talking about booster boxes not doing that great, but guess what? Forbidden Light's booster box is up 5%. Ultra Prism's booster box is flat. And now 6 of the 8 ETBs that we've looked at have come down in price. Might be an awesome buying opportunity for ETBs here in the Sun and Moon series in the near future, and that is what excites me when we go through periods like this in any collecting space. Now, Crimson Invasion and Burning Shadows, we're getting to the beginning of an era, and this is where we're going to start to see some accelerated weakness, right? We're going to start seeing a lot more red. We're going to start seeing a lot of things coming down. Burning Shadows, that freaking Charizard just got punched in the tail over the last month. It's down 13%. Booster box is down. Booster pack is down. You look at Crimson Invasion, ETB is down. Booster pack is down. Booster box is down. It's really interesting. And then remember the ratio I talked about in the beginning of the video, right? The average of the top 20 versus the booster box price. Crimson Invasion is the lowest out of all of Sun and Moon right now. So for me, that tells me that the booster box is just a little too heavy right now. It just costs a little bit too much money in relationship to the cards that are in it. Now, Crimson Invasion, same thing, down 8%. That is our biggest loss month over month out of all the Sun and Moon series. Obviously, the majority of that was driven by the big loss in the Charizard at the very top, but still not a lot of excitement here in the beginning eras. And we'll have to keep an eye on this because, again, as the market goes through whatever cycle it's in the middle of going through, it'll be interesting to see where investors and collectors tend to put their money now that Sun and Moon is getting to be older and older and older, and we're all the way into, the very beginning of Scarlet and Violet with a lot of awesome sets that are coming out there. Now, Guardian Rising and Sun and Moon Base, both sets held their booster box prices, but the ETBs fell, right? We have said that a lot. A lot of Elite Trainer boxes from Sun and Moon are coming down, and I'm going to say it now, and I'm going to say it proud. That excites me, okay? Even if you hold some Elite Trainer boxes from the Sun and Moon era, as these start to come down in the long run, Sun and Moon Elite Trainer boxes are going to be just fine. When the market starts to cycle like this, it gives all of us an opportunity to pick up some stuff, to fill some holes in our collection that maybe we wouldn't have been able to afford before. As long as you believe in the long-term prospects of Pokemon, you are going to have some awesome opportunities, I think. Now, Sun and Moon base set was close to second for the biggest loser in the top 20. Even Marnie took a huge nosedive. That Marnie card in Sun and Moon base, I absolutely love. I pulled it. I got it in a PSA 10 right up over here behind me. I can see it in the reflection. But that card took a big hit. Again, I'm not worried about it in the long run. I think it's going to be okay. And then when you look at the Guardian Rising booster box price versus the average of the top 20 card price, again, second lowest in all of Sun and Moon. This is not a big deal. This is what we expect to see from the beginning of the era. Now listen, I never say the past repeats itself, but I do say that it rhymes. So when I look at something like this, when I'm looking at these first 4 sets and I'm staring down the barrel of the first 4 sets here in Scarlet and Violet, I don't mind spending less than $100 on a booster box, but I'm also not freaking out about the softness of them, right? Because I expect at the beginning of an era to be a little bit lighter. It happens every single time. Happened in Sun and Moon, happened in Sword and Shield. We're seeing it right now in Scarlet and Violet. It is in no way, shape, or form the indication of how the hobby is feeling about Pokemon. I guarantee you that because we've seen it time and time and time again. Now, with all that being said, listen, everybody, here's what it all netted out to. So only 3 of the 12 sets that we looked at saw top 20 cards go up in price month over month. 50% of the booster boxes, we have not said this in a long time, 50% of all the booster boxes in Sun and Moon went down month over month. Went down month over month. When was the last time we ever talked about a Sun and Moon booster box going down? That is really crazy. And then just 4 of the 12 Elite Trainer boxes were up, which means the majority of them were down. 15 of the 36 top 3 cards, right? There's 12 sets, 3 of the top cards, 3 times 12 is 36. 15 of the top 36 cards went up, okay? Less than 50% of the top cards went up month over month here. As I just said a minute ago, the past doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. And it's going to be really cool for us to continue this video series and to continue to look at this month over month, because my goal with this whole series is for us not to be looking, not to understand things after it happened. I want us to be in the moment as best as we could. I want us to prepare ourselves for whatever the Pokemon market has in store for us in the months and years ahead. And this is how we're going to be doing it. And if you made it to the end of this video and you enjoy the content and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Questions or comments, drop them down below. And as always, if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. I appreciate you. Y'all have an epic one. See you, everybody.